All right, tonight, more bad news for Minnesota, from Minnesota, and thanks to its horrible governor, our friend Tampon Tim Walz. The House Oversight Committee is out with a new report tonight detailing the many failures from state leaders, including Governor Walz, that allowed fraud to run rampant. Among the findings, the fraud allegations date as far back as 2019. Some cases, the decision was made to keep the payments flowing in order to avoid accusations of racism. I guess in this case, well, they really did go woke and go broke, except it was your money. Now, Vice President J.D. Vance received the report from the committee and announced tonight on X that he has asked the Fraud Division of the Department of Justice to launch a criminal probe of the Minnesota state officials who allowed this fraud to happen on their watch. We did reach out to Governor Walz's office for comment. Shockingly, we've not heard back. Here now with more details, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Chairman James Comer of Kentucky. All right, Chairman, where are you going with this?
Well, I'm really excited, Sean. We put a lot of time into this report. I want to brag on the committee and the committee staff. But the heroes of this report are the whistleblowers in Minnesota. We had 9 whistleblowers who are career government employees in Minnesota who did the right thing. They saw fraud, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do when they caught fraud. They reported it to their superiors. They reported it to Attorney General Keith Ellison and Governor Tim Walz. Time after time, the governor and attorney general both turned a blind eye. When the whistleblowers continued to blow the whistle, then Governor Walz started retaliating against the whistleblowers. So we have 2 crimes here. We have a crime of negligence with our tax dollars, and secondly, we have a crime of retaliating against whistleblowers. So we sent a letter and the report to Vice President Vance, who's done a tremendous job with his fraud task force in Minnesota, and he referred it today to the Department of Justice. So I think we're going to see real accountability here. We've already seen 36 people arrested in Minnesota for being a part of this fraud. And Sean, the only way you're ever going to stop public officials like Governor Walz and Attorney General Ellison from doing anything about fraud is you've got to hold them accountable, and that's what our committee did, along with the help of Vice President Vance, and now it's in the Department of Justice's hands, and the evidence is there because of the whistleblowers and all the depositions and interviews we did with them, that Governor Walz did turn a blind eye and retaliated against whistleblowers.
Your committee found Minnesota estimated it lost $300 million in stolen federal nutrition funds intended for the hungry children. During the COVID-19 pandemic, as much as $9 billion in Medicare billing that may have been fraudulent. $9 billion in one state, Congressman? Seriously?
That's substantial. I mean, that's half the general fund budget for the entire state of Kentucky. And this was just on welfare programs in Minnesota. And again, people ask, well, how could they get away with this? Well, they didn't. All the checks were in place. The government employees caught the fraud, but yet the governor and the attorney general didn't want to do anything, Sean, for political reasons. They didn't want to offend that massive Somali voting bloc they have in Minnesota. That is a big reason why Minnesota continues to stay blue in the presidential race, and that's why they have a Democrat governor and a Democrat attorney general, because of that voting base. So anytime someone, a whistleblower or someone in Congress would say something about the fraud, they would say, oh, that's racist, that's racist. Or the Democrats would do their normal business model and say, oh, the Republicans are wanting to cut off Medicaid. My governor in Kentucky tweeted that today. He picked a bad day to defend Minnesota. But at the end of the day, the people of America are sick and tired of sending their hard-earned tax dollars to Washington, and then Washington sending that money to those states, and the states just disregarding the taxpayers and allowing the fraud to continue. I'm confident something's going to be done, and I appreciate Vice President Vance.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing. Keep us in the loop. That's a lot of taxpayer money. Oz said it's hundreds and hundreds of billions. Unbelievable. Thank you, James Comer. All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.